Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this morning. Got a big show lined up. Got a special guest here. All kind of good information you're going to enjoy, and I hope you appreciate it. I get a lot of good feedback on this show, and I do appreciate that. Weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77, and high today is 77, okay? And low is going to be 60. Water temperature is still at 66.6, so it has leveled out like we said yesterday. River readings brought to us by Sandhill Seafood, home of some good fresh seafood. Our place cold up Bluntstown, folks, it is low. It is at a 1.6, and there's no movement whatsoever as far as it rising. It's just going to be all through the weekend and on into next week, 1.6. Not any rain predicted of any measure in this whole area. So also the Choctawhatchee Caryville at 4.3, it's low and going down a little bit lower. So both rivers, a 4-point reading for the Choctawhatchee is low. So both rivers are, on the low stage. So be careful when you're out there on the river. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery. Again, we're in neap tides. We're looking at just a neap tide today is actually the 30th of November. Not much movement around midnight. We've got some water coming in if you're going to be out gigging or something, but that's about the only movement we're going to have. And the wind is going to be coming out south-southeast at about 5 to 10. So it's going to be a pretty day out there, and it's not going to be too hot, too cold. It's going to be a perfect day being on water. We're just not going to have a lot of movement, and the river's low, and the woods are dry. Other than that, it's all the good news. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back, folks. Welcome to Travis Bassford.
Good morning.
Good morning, Travis. We're going to get started early. We ran out of time last time, so we're just going to jump right into it. We're going to skip the niceties. We've already covered that. He's already talked about the deer he missed and all that. If we have time, we'll talk about that later. But he did get him a nice deer, but that's another story.
Yes, sir.
But anyway, we did not finish last month when we on one of the viewers sent us a question, and we didn't really get it answered completely. So let's finish up on that.
Cool. Well, yeah, that's just the thing. I mean, Coach gets questions from time to time, and he'll text me or call me about it. And we want to get the questions answered. That's the thing, because it's just so much information, and the stuff changes sometimes on a monthly, weekly, daily basis sometimes with some of the fishery stuff. So what we want to start doing is if y'all have a question, you can email Coach. He'll get it to me, and then I can get it researched if I need to. Some stuff I'll know off the top of my head, but there's complicated questions, and if we need to run it by legal, and then we'll answer it on the air. And that way, if one person has a question, 5 other people probably have that same question, and that way we can get the information out there, because that's what we want to do is I get questions all the time. I don't know it all. Some I can answer off the top of my head, and some I'm like, hey, give me your number and I'll get back with you, because the stuff changes. And just something we want to start doing, and the main thing is get the information out there.
That's right.
So
that's right.
If y'all got a question, email, text Coach, and he'll get it to me, and then we'll talk about it next month on the show. I
get a lot of questions, a lot of comments, and it's sort of good feedback from everybody. It's a positive thing we got going on. All right?
Yep. So we were talking about we got deer and duck season opened up.
And overall, from my viewpoint, I told them yesterday, I saw some pretty good results on the deer. And what about you and your guys and girls out there?
Same thing. I mean, it's been a good season. A lot of good bow kills.
Okay.
We had gun season open up as always over Thanksgiving. A lot of deer killed, and some good deer, and then a lot of does. We had doe day. That was for both zones. So it's been really good. And then duck season too. We had it open up that phase, and actually, I saw quite a few birds on Deer Point. They're right before the season started, and then they kind of get shifted around. But they did the drawdown on Deer Point, which will kind of hinder it a little bit. But I saw good ducks on Deer Point. I heard good reports from Seminole, and then we had some in the bays. We still need some good hard freezes to get the big flocks down in the bays. But I sent you that picture. I had a friend of mine send me a kind of a rare duck for this area. He actually killed a northern shoveler in West Bay.
Yeah, and that's unusual. You don't see a shoveler down very often.
No, I mean when I was in Palm Beach, now we killed quite a few of those.
Okay.
But just ignore Mallard. He was asking for some ID, and it is a shoveler. They're distinguished by that long bill, like a shovel on the bill, and You know, that's part of your 6 duck bag limit. But kind of weird, too, that he was over the saltwater, because usually they're more of a freshwater marsh lake duck. And he could have come out of one of the creeks, but pretty cool for up here, pretty rare duck. Mm-hmm. So, but they did pretty good. I heard Crooked Island had a few ducks. So it's been a pretty good year so far.
Yeah. Good Thanksgiving holidays and good weekend. A lot of folks out in the woods and all. It
was. And then I know you said you went floundering.
Yeah, we've been floundering, and we talked about that yesterday. We got pretty well wrapping it up, and we'll mention a little bit more on a Friday fishing report tomorrow. So we're gonna talk a little bit more about that. But it's been a good year, good fall.
Good deal. Well, just to go over a couple dates, you know, General Gunn is out for deer, duck's out. They're going to both come back in on December 9th, okay? And then General Gunn will run to February 18th for deer. Duck will be December 9th to the end of January, and it'll be out January 28th. So I'm looking forward to it. I didn't get to duck hunt. I did do some deer hunting with some family up on our place in Jackson, and it was really nice. We saw some cool deer. But another question I get, too, are about these antler restrictions. And, you know, we have the 2 zones. We've had this now for 2 or 3 years now. 3 points on one side or more north of I-10 in the Northwest region. 2 points or more on, you know, south of I-10. But then there's a caveat to where if you're north of I-10, and I've brought a couple sheds in here. If it has a 10-inch main beam or more, more than 10 inches on the main beam, which is the main part of the antler here, then it's legal north of 10, which will allow you to take a cow horn spike or a deer. I'm going to use this one as an example. This is a shed here, but this is actually a roadkill buck. But if you look at this deer and you're north of I-10, he doesn't have 3 points on one side. This is one side of his rack. He only has the 2. But what we would look at then to see if this deer is legal is the main beam. And I'm just going to do a quick measurement on him. And we'd come here from the base of the antler, wrap it around, and approximately he's about 12 1/4. Okay, so this is legal. Not by the point rule, but by the main beam rule, this deer would be legal to take north of 10.
Oh, good point.
So that's important to remember. Now, he's legal by what? About 2 inches. You know, at 100 yards and a foggy scope, do you want to take that chance,
on that,
or maybe wait until you could see 3 points, or that this beam's so long? And then another way we measure the point, if you were to draw a line, you know, here at the top of the main beam, we're going to be measuring. Like I say, we're going to measure this point here. We would measure from here. So this point would be, it needs to be at least 1 inch long. It'd be about 2 1/4. So this would be legal on both of those standards because you've got 3 points and then greater than 10 inches. So just wanted to go over that.
Let's see that one back. I want to show. Back in the old days now, some of those old boys I used to hunt with, old timers, see that little nub right there, they'll count that as a point.
Well, if you can hang a ring on it, right? That's the old saying.
That was the old saying. I get tickled with those guys.
But yeah, so they might try to make this into an 8 point.
That's an 8 point, yeah.
But yeah, we're going by at least 1 inch long for a scoreable point. So just want to go over that, and hopefully that helps in any confusion with that rule. So
that's a good point right there. Okay, thanks for those props there. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. So glad you're with us this morning. Got a lot of good information coming here from Travis Bassfield with the Fish and Wildlife Commission, and we're looking at some more good information. So Travis?
We got a pile, and you know, it's just deer, duck season, squirrel season too. I heard was really good.
Yeah.
I talked to my neighbor, and he goes over here on Appalachia toward Howard's Creek, and they got a limit both days on his boat.
I had some good squirrel and rice up there on Lake Talcott when I saw the video. The family gets together once a year and all, and they take the kids and all. So
that's good.
It was good.
Yeah, I've got some good memories of my dad. That's what I started doing way before I was chasing those deer around.
We all started with
squirrels.
Yeah, that's good memories.
When I was, 10, 11, 12 years old, you'd much rather chase that around than sit still for an hour or two waiting for a deer.
That's true.
But it's fun. And anyway, so that was good. Next thing I want to talk about, I get questions on antlerless deer permits, doe tags. We're going to talk a little bit about what you need to apply for them, and then when you harvest a doe or an antlerless deer, what you need to do with that tag immediately. I've had people that I think genuinely might have been trying to do the right thing, but they didn't affix the tag like it should have been when the deer was taken. And unfortunately, people will try to take multiple does with one tag, and that's the rules in there to try to prevent that. So, but basically, antlerless deer permits, you can apply online, go to myfwc.com, click on hunting, and usually around summer, I think it says July 1st is when the renewals you can put in.
Okay, July 1st.
And what it allows is you can take an antlerless deer with a tag during the season with a hunting license and a deer permit on your property or the property where the tag is designated to. And what I mean by that is, like, say our place up in Jackson, okay, we apply for antlerless deer tags. Say we get a tag there, that tag can't be used on somebody else's property right across the road. That tag is assigned to that property. Another thing too, some requirements is you need to have at least 640 acres landowners to apply.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the minimum. Now there's one thing you can do as well. Let's say you've got 300 acres and I've got 350. We could apply together.
Okay, that's a good point there, because that happens a lot.
It does,
Yeah.
and that way, we could get tags for our property. We go in there and apply together. But I'm not going to get into all the stuff about the requirements, other than you need to know that 640 acres, or if you've got buddies or whatever. Now, if you're leasing, you can still do it. You need to have the landowner's permission. You've got to have like a picture of the the property and stuff to send in. That's all on there. But I'm going to talk about our side of it, Division of Law Enforcement, when we're enforcing this, when we see the antlerless deer that's been taken. And the main thing is, if you have tags and you want to take a doe, then when you harvest the animal, immediately when you go down and locate that animal, tag him, or tag her, I should say. And that tag, I was going to bring one in. I remember to bring the antlers, I remember to bring the tags, but it has a locking device on it. That needs to be attached to the hide. I've seen people put it on legs. I've seen people put it on the actual hide back there, the hindquarters. I've seen them put it on the ear of the doe, but it needs to be attached immediately before that vehicle's loaded up on a four-wheeler, a UTV, a truck, anything. You've got to attach that tag, because what people will do, believe it or not, is they'll have a tag.
But they want to save it.
Right, we'll save it for another one. So they'll harvest a doe, they'll have the tag, it's not affixed and it's not locked, and then if they don't get checked, then they'll take another one.
Yeah.
Then they'll take another one. So if we check somebody and they've got a doe and say, hey, well, here's my tag. Oh, really? Well, why is it not on your deer? Because that's what it's supposed to be. So it
Now,
needs
is there
to
a
be,
rule about any part of the deer? Or
just the hide is what it
anywhere
says.
on the hide?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's what it. Because I know it's like other places have ears and that kind of stuff, but here,
Right.
just anywhere in the hide.
Yep, as
Okay.
long as that is attached and it is locked. Okay.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people on that the rear legs. They'll
Yeah,
where you skin a deer, they'll put it through there. They'll
Right.
put it through the ear. As long as it's attached and locked, and that way, if it's removed, it's going to be ripped off or cut. And then it needs to stay on the carcass on that hide until the hunter's at his or her residence. Okay. And then, of course, the same rule applies to the meat, as far as you need to have it, you need to have sex evidence of what that deer is. And for a buck, it would be, you keep the rack, but for a doe, either the genitals, the head, something that's gonna prove, hey, this is a doe, it was doe day, and this is the deer that goes to that meat. So I just want to go over that. We've had some confusion, and then we've had some people, I think, intentionally try to act confused or whatever, and violate that law. And I'll tell you what, most of us, if we come up and you've got a doe and he's loaded up in your truck and you got a tag and it's not affixed, you're probably going to receive a citation that's going to be addressed, because that's what we don't want, is that the tags are assigned to the property, and there's a certain number of tags per property, and we don't want people shooting 5 does for one tag. So anyways, so good thing to know about doe tags. You can go online. There's a lot of good information on there about them. And then the last thing I want to talk about, I think I sent you a picture of that rut map. It's
Yeah,
pretty
this is
cool.
interesting, yeah.
Pretty cool. This was a study done actually back in like 2009, but they've got a lot of good information they've added to our site as far as deer and deer hunting. The buck registry, you can apply for antlerless deer permits, but this rut map's pretty cool. This is the mean conception date
Okay.
for fawns in our region, and they did a study.
And they pretty well tell, because they study it so well, and they pretty well can know when these yearlings are born.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And because this is when they're conceived, and they're going to be born in the springtime after this. And as you see, most of it is late December through mid-February. And up by us, I've always said around Christmas is when it gets started, and the closest dot to where our place is looks like is January 4th. And then I hear people say, hey, when you get over toward Tyndall and Gulf County, it's in February. And sure enough, over there in Gulf County, they've got mid-February there. So pretty cool, you know, and the rut can vary, but that's pretty much goes along with what most hunters say. So pretty neat for your area.
Good information there. Good information. All right, let's take our final break, and we'll be right back with Travis. Okay, welcome back. We're glad you're here today. Let's look at Fishing Game Time, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers down at Port St. Joe. 8:50 to 10:50 this morning, and 9:16 to 11:16 tonight. And we've got a lot to cover, so let's get going.
I know, it seems like we always run out of time. It is a lot of information. Hey, one thing I want to remind y'all, and then we'll get into the cases of the month, is Warren Bayou Steam Plant Canal open to harvest. Remember, it was voted on here locally in the commissioners, and then it went to the FWC Commission, and there's no longer a closure in Warren Bayou. It is wide open, but all size limits, bag limits apply, especially when it comes to speckled trout. You can have 5 per person, only 1 over 20. And if you're fishing up there at the right time of year and you catch 5, all of them could be over 20. So kind of watch that. That is a slot there on the trout.
There's a lot of small fish up in there, though, so be aware of that.
Yep, that too. So you got to be at least 15. Okay, cases of the month. I've got 2, and they're good ones.
Y'all been busy, haven't you?
We have. We've been talking about deer the whole time, it seems like, so we're going to talk about deer a little more with the cases of the month. It's just that time of year that deer season's in and people are harvesting them, and unfortunately some people harvest them illegally. These are a couple night hunting cases, which are always exciting. The first one's short and sweet. It's Officer Dennis Palmer here in Bay County. He was on patrol, kind of right place, right time. He was working in an area where he'd had some complaints and had some night hunting cases made in the past. And a vehicle pulled in, I believe it was about 9:30, pulled in a hunting lease, private hunting lease, and it's probably within a couple minutes of the vehicle pulling in, he saw it pull in and start working its way down a power line. It shot, you know, pow, high-powered rifle shot. So he said, okay, got his stuff together. Within 10 minutes, another shot. Okay, so then when the vehicle comes out, he conducts a stop, and there's blood all over tailgate, fresh blood. So he goes and makes contact with the driver, and they drop tailgate. There's a freshly killed doe right there. So kind of right place, right time, but his experience and knowing where to be, you know, ended up being a good case. So citation was issued, and the guy went in there and shot the doe, you know, right down the road from him, and he happened to be right there and got to see the whole thing. So good case by Dennis Palmer here in Bay County. Another one, this one is a little more, it's kind of a story involved with it. I want to recognize Lieutenant John Allen, Officer Matt Gore, Carl Hellett, Officer Jason Litford, and Arnie McMillan.
Okay.
And Litford and Arnie McMillan are over in Gulf County. The others are in Bay. But they were working some early in the morning one morning over in southeastern Bay County, and they noticed a vehicle coming out of a private hunting lease was stuck. And that was stuck in the sand, and the individual approached him, and they said, well, what are you doing out here? And he said, well, I'm checking my trail cameras. And I think most deer hunters know it's like, you don't check trail cameras at 5 in the morning. Yeah. That's when you're going to get in a deer stand usually, or you're coming out when you ain't been doing something right. So they got finished what they were doing. They went back to where the guy was stuck, and they saw the guy in his truck, and the guy was gone. He had got pulled out. And but they noticed right where he was stuck, there was a pile of blood. Okay, so they actually went back, saw that, and that was, you know, kind of got their minds thinking, hey, we think something was killed in here, whether it be a deer, a hog, or whatever. So they talked to Officer Litford. He knew the individual, and so did Arnie McMillan. They did some tracking down, went by his residence, and he wasn't there, but found out that he was at work. So they go to his work, find the truck, and in the truck is in plain view in the back of the truck is a freshly killed buckhead, and next to a cooler. So they wait on the guy there. He comes out. An interview was conducted, and basically he admitted to he was in that lease, went in there the night before, shot a deer with a rifle at night, deer and bow season. That's what that deer was in the back, you know, with the head, and left the carcass, didn't get any meat, just had the head, and then also consensual search of the vehicle revealed that there was a trail camera in there, and the trail camera was actually stolen.
Oh.
So, because he said that he had shot, in front of that camera and took the camera. So it ended up being a good case, and these guys did a real good job on tracking them down, some good police work, and a lot of charges were filed. Obviously the taking the deer at night, illegal method during bow season, and then the theft of the trail camera as well. So.
Well, I guess he's right initially, though. He was checking the trail camera, but it just wasn't his trail camera he was checking.
Exactly.
Well, good job. We appreciate that kind of law enforcement. And you stop and think, we didn't have this kind of law enforcement, that would just go on and on and on until we're not having anything left. And that's what happened in the 30s and 40s.
You're exactly right.
Deer population was wiped out because of that. So salute to all you and your guys for working those cases.
They did a great job, and that was good teamwork, and a lot of them coming together and tracking that guy down. And unfortunately, a lot of that stuff goes on, and we don't know about it. But as always, we want people to call it in if you see it. Call us, do wildlife alert, and hopefully we can get these guys caught. So.
Quick question now, talking about driving at night, and this happens a lot, and you see a deer runs out in front of you, and now it's a buck or doe, whatever. Mm-hmm. Do the people driving the car, they don't, most of these are non-hunters.
Right.
And if it's not a lot of damage, what legally can they do or not do on a deer side of the road that they've hit?
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what time of year, it might be out of season.
Right.
What we want y'all to do, call us.
Okay.
Let us know. Sometimes we'll send an officer out, sometimes we won't. If you hit a deer with your vehicle and you want to take it home and eat it, we don't want it to go to waste.
Right.
So but a lot of times we will send an officer out and make sure the deer hasn't been shot or anything like that, and then call us, because if you called it in, that shows that you're getting ahead of the game, as opposed to you take that deer home, you're skinning it up, your neighbor says, it's not even deer season, they're skinning a deer up, and then they'll call us.
Right.
So you can take it home, just give us a call. Give us a call, let us know.
Sounds good. Travis, thanks so much, buddy.
Always fun.
All the good information coming, Travis, and keep up the good work, and maybe get some time to go fishing and hunting a little bit.
Maybe.
Okay. Folks, always thank y'all so much for watching our show. We appreciate the viewership and all the input we get. Y'all have a great day today. You do something good for your fellow man, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.